welcome to Hedgehog Hollow and day 23 of Inktoberfest. Today I wanted to share with you some of the projects that I've made at Wendy's class a few weeks ago, and then also show you a few fun resist techniques using something that you may not usually use. So again, this was something we made in class, this lovely frame that sits behind me, you may have noticed it. This acorn is one of her chipboard accents that coordinates with some of her stamp sets. This pumpkin stamp set also has those wonderful stencils that you saw me use yesterday. This is the stamp set and it's got those stencils on there. And then if you want to check that out, check that top right hand corner, you can see that. The owl is a brad that we use the enamel accents with the dot technique on the end of a kind of scoring stylus, and we added that yellow into those eyes. We also did this one here, which is using one of Wendy's stencils. This is using this square Grate stencil, and we used it a few different ways. We also used one of her polka dot stencils over the top of this mug. Again, this mug has those wonderful stencils you can work with, and they're 3D chipboard accents. So we used that. We used the leaves here. These again are cut chipboard accents. I did buy some of these. We stamped a few more underneath, and then again that dot enamel accent just to give some fun pop to these cards. This was another sample that we did on her newsprint paper, and I wrote on here, so this is newsprint paper, archival and alcohol, and tomorrow we will be working with her alcohol, her archival inks, and we'll explore some of those techniques further. This is another one we did. This is one of her background stamps. In fact, it's two of her background stamps. There's a sentiment set in here. There's another set in here. There's a stencil that we've done a water lift technique with in here. And then this is some of her clearly for art. So this is really good fun. This is an acetate that you heat, and then you can curl it, but the great thing is you can add newsprint to it. You can get it in black that you can use your mixatives on, and then once you heat it, you can manipulate it. And if you don't like the way you've manipulated it, you just heat it and flatten it back out again. But that's how it has that fun thing in there. You can put anything really heavy on here, put it through the mail, and you're still going to have these fun kind of flicky up petals. This was some more ideas using that square Grate stencil, so just moving it around in different ways. And here is another idea that we did with that square Grate. This one here is archival onto the glass mat, add alcohol, allowed to soak, blendable, added only on left, water on top, only droplets. So you can see here, we went through lots and lots of different techniques. And what I do is just like our Inktoberfest, I write on the back exactly what I've done. So if I want to recreate this really pretty technique, then I can just follow those instructions and I can go back and recreate it. This is the effect we're going to be working with today. This is using a glue resist. This was on a stamp. I did refine my process slightly, and we used a few different techniques. This is using, again, another one of Wendy's stamp sets, using some polka dots in the background, and using her blendables with our mini blending tools and those stencils in there too. This is another version of that. This lined piece down here is another one of her stencils. This is not the exact one I used, but it's a border exactly the same as this, and you can use it in fun ways and move it around and whatnot. So you can have some real fun with these border stencils. This one here was a stamping with water technique, using a beautiful stamp set and then using one of these chipboard accents over the top. Stamps here, again, a black chipboard accent. So many different things we can do, considering we only worked with really limited supplies. Here we have used archival ink on plastic, braided together, stamp using plastic as ink pad, and then added around the edge some blendable inks. But this in the middle here is a custom ink pad using archival. This was a piece I did when I got home I used blendable, I used my regular distress inks, and I used my oxide inks, just to kind of highlight how they each come out a little bit differently, and how you get the lights and the darks and different tones and things in there. So I like doing these comparison things for that reason. This one is prints taken with archival. This is one that I did when I got home, and this is distress stamping paper with archival ink and alcohol, and each of the four each of the quarter on here, I have used a different medium with that tree stencil. And again, I've just kind of added those techniques in. This is using Archival on specialty stamping paper. Again, cut techniques we'll look more at tomorrow. This again was Archival. This is that glue resist that I'm going to show you. This was just blending the blendables, and then on top of this one we stamped with water. So if I lift this up, you can see in here there's details of one of the background stamps. This one here, we stamped with water and then lifted that ink off. So you end up with that in the background. More of that glue resist technique, even more of that glue resist technique. Again, glue resist technique with different colors. This is a little bit of everything all together. So we stenciled onto the cup, we added chipboard accents, we added color, we added stamping, we added stencils, we added emboss panels. This was a weaving piece that we did. And this again was another piece, and you can put a gift card and things in this little piece in there. And then this is what we created yesterday. So many different things that we learned. But today I want you to show you something really, really cool that you might not have played with before. So we're going to be using the Wendy Vecchi Perfect Card Adhesive. We're going to be using the square Grate stencil, and we're going to be using a tag. So we can add this to our tag ring. We're going to pop our stencil over the top. Now there are a few different ways to do this. Again, I suggest you create a foamy just for your Perfect Card Adhesive. I have some in a little packet down there, but I'm going to just use a new one today to show you how this works and how we kind of get started. So we're going to add some of this Perfect Card Adhesive onto our glass mat. And we're going to put in our blending tool. And we're just going to put a very thin coat through our stencil. Now, the one thing I'm going to say about this is sometimes it's hard to see where you've been, but with some practice you'll start to realise it does look a little bit different. I'm going to make sure I pick up as much as possible off of my worktop, and then I'm going to lift this up. And so now I can see that there's a little bit of glisten in there. Of course the lawn guys start up as soon as I start filming a video, but we're just going to plow on through because at least we are not having to do that lawn out there. I'm very grateful to the guy who does our lawn so that I can spend my time crafting with you. So just wipe it off with a baby wipe, and then we're just going to give this a couple of seconds to dry. You really don't need much time at all. In that time, I'm going to take my glue-based bending tool and I'm going to put it to the side so that I know that that is not the one I want to use. I'm going to pick out some of the Garden Patina Blendable. This is a really, really pretty colour to work with. And I'm going to pick up a blending tool. Now, it's already dry, so that's how thin of a coat I put on. The other thing I really like about this adhesive is when we were working with that Clearly for Art and we were working with newsprint, you do not get any bubbles at all. I'm trying to find that project quickly to show you again. So this is newsprint, which is super, super thin. It's this stuff here that your newspaper is printed on. You can put it onto this plastic and not have any residue whatsoever. It's going to stick perfectly. You also can put it on your fingers, rub your hands, and there's no residue again. So few things I love about this Perfect Card Adhesive. So now we're going to just do that same thing. And so you can see that this glue creates a resist, which I just think is super, super cool. So you could put colours underneath and then put your glue over the top. But what it is an alternative to having to heat emboss. And the other thing I like about it is it doesn't add a load of thickness. Now, heat embossing is very pretty and you can do it in all sorts of colours and resists and whatnot. But the thing is, it does add thickness to your card and you don't necessarily always want that. So that's one thing I love about this glue resist, is that you don't get that. This is just going to be, and you can build up this blendable colour to be as thick or as thin as you want it to be. And so that just builds up the intensity of the colour. But I just think it's super cool. And we did it that you built your foamy up with the Perfect Card Adhesive and then you stamped into it and stamped on your piece. And again, you get that same resist using the glue as you do where you would heat emboss. But this dries super, super quickly, no heat tool required. So it's another great on-the-go technique too. And you can see there's no smudging, there's no anything. And I started here with a thin coat. Here I started to build it up to a thicker coat, so more intense color. So just wanted to kind of share with you some of those quick tips. I'm really excited tomorrow to share with you the Archival inks as well. I'm a huge convert to Archival ink, so you want to check that out in Inktoberfest tomorrow. Don't forget to also check out Wendy's video. Check out the description below because we also have some coupons for you. There's a Tonic coupon and an Ellen Hudson coupon in the description there for you too. As I mentioned, Wendy's video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. And if you enjoyed today's video, maybe you thought this was an awesome tip, just like I did, and I learned something new with this, then do give us a thumbs up as well. But have a wonderful day. I hope you're enjoying Inktoberfest. We'll see you very soon. Happy stamping. Bye.